fellow Toastmasters. Today I'd like to talk to you about power. And when you think of power, I'm not talking about political power. Most of the time, political power has to do with ego and things like that. The power that I want to talk to you about is the power that's within. The power that all of us have to do whatever it is we want to do, or whatever it is we dream about doing. Most of the time when you think about power, you think about electricity. Now when you're talking about electricity, there are three things you need to know. First, did you know that power doesn't start out in the form that you see it? It actually starts out as water at a treatment plant, lake, a river, or a dam, where the generators actually generate the power that we see and that we utilize. Has anybody ever been on a tour at a dam? What do they call it? You know what you call the tour at the dam? The dam tour. If you get stuck in traffic, you know what you call it out there? The damn traffic. But anyway, that power starts there, and then it's transferred to where we see it and we use it. The same thing happens to us. A lot of us have power within us, but we don't even know it yet. There's always something deep inside of all of us that we can use to do exactly what we want to do. It's kind of like the lion cub who hasn't discovered his roar yet. You know, he may just be purring every now and then. Purr, purr. And all of a sudden, this roar comes out. That's what happens with our power. When we have, let's say, that light bulb moment, as some people like to call it. Now we can stand up tall and do whatever it is we want to do. Second thing, power is transferable. You can transfer power from one entity to another. So it is with us again. Our power is transferable. Once you discover this power within, you can't keep it to yourself. There's no way you can keep it to yourself. You're supposed to take it and share it. Help somebody else along the way. Be a servant. The Bible says in the book of Luke that Jesus told Simon Peter, Satan has desired to sift you as wheat, but I prayed for you that your faith fails not. And when you have been converted, go strengthen your brother. That's what we're supposed to do with our power. We're supposed to go out and strengthen our brothers. That's the second thing. So, you have to discover it, and then you have to transfer it. You have to work together. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. I have in my bag here a remote control. This remote control runs by batteries, which is another form of power. But it needs two batteries in order to operate. If I put one battery in it, I can't use it. It's no good. But when I add the second battery, I can sit back and enjoy all the ESPN I want without having to get up and change the channel. So transferable power. Third thing about power, power has to have a source. It has to have a source. If it's not connected to the source, it won't work. I have here my little lamp. This lamp, I can sit here and hold it all day, and it won't do anything. But if I take it and plug it in, now I have light because it's plugged in to the source. Power has a source. You have to be connected to your source. What is your source? Who is your source? The Bible says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Maybe he's your source. Whoever it is, get connected with a source. Now, power is an acronym that I like to use, and you all have sheets of paper on your table. If you can turn them over now. Power is an acronym that I like to use for the possibility of winning every race. Possibility of winning every race. We all have the possibility to win every race we're in. We may not win it, but we have the possibility. You can never have the possibility if you don't decide to get in the race. That's the first thing you have to do. We're all in a race called life. Some people call it the rat race. But we have the possibility of winning this race. At times you may get knocked down. There may be hurdles in front of you. You've got car races, horse races, and then you've got races, the human race, but you have humans who race. And sometimes they have to jump over hurdles. So it is with the race that we're in. There's always going to be obstacles, distractions, things that get in your way. Now, if you watch the person who's running the hurdles, sometimes they jump over all of them, never touch a one. And then from time to time, some people just plow right through them. The important thing is they still finish the race. Even if they fall down after plowing through one of those hurdles, they still get up and they finish the race. What you have to do with your power, you can't be unselfish with it. You can't be selfish with it. As I said, it's transferable. You have to help somebody else. Sometimes we're selfish and we don't even know it. We don't know we're being selfish. I can think of a time when I was being selfish and didn't know it. I was overseas in the military. I was in the Air Force, RAF Chick Sands, England. My roommate was from Chicago. He and I, we had the best room in the whole entire dorm. We had the video game, we had the stereo, we had the VCR. Everybody wanted to hang out in our room. One thing we didn't have a dimmer switch. So I went out and bought one. I wanted to install a dimmer switch. I bought the dimmer switch, brought it back to our room, installed it after being shot twice trying to do it, but I installed it. A few days later, an electrician comes by. He's inspecting every room on the 3rd floor. He gets to our room, he asks, who installed this dimmer switch? And not wanting to take the credit, or the blame as it were, I said, I don't know. It was here when I got here. He said, okay. He walked off, came back about 30 minutes later. He asked, you mind if I take a look at this dimmer switch? I said, sure, go ahead, no problem. He looked at the dimmer switch, took it apart. He said, whoever installed this dimmer switch didn't know what the heck they were doing. I had, selfishly, unbeknownst to myself, turned off everybody's lights on the 3rd floor except ours. Our room was the only one with power. So you can't be selfish with your power. Another thing about power, a person who has that ability to win every race, they have some attributes. First attribute they have to be self-disciplined. See, self-discipline is the most important bridge between thought and achievement. Think about it. You have a thought of something you want to accomplish, a dream, a vision, a goal. Then over here, you know what you want to achieve. Well, in between those two, you have got to be self-disciplined. Also, you have to be willing to take risks. You can't be afraid to step out on a limb because that's where the fruit is. You've got to go out and get this thing. A person who has that ability to win every race, they're also coachable. You have to be coachable. Find yourself a mentor, someone who can help you do what it is you're trying to do. You have to have that. Possibility of winning every race. When you think of possibilities, you think of the word if. Last week, Joel talked about as if. I like to talk about what if. Most people will say, if only this, if only that. What if this? Or what if this doesn't work? Well, what if it does? You can't be afraid to try. You've got to get rid of the ifs in life, because the ifs in life will stop you every time. If you let the ifs in life hinder you, you will never be able to achieve your dreams. Because if you want something bad enough that you're willing to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it and you know that your life is worthless without it, if you would gladly sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, lose all terror of the opposition for it, if you will simply go after the thing that you want with all of your capacity, your strength and sagacity, your faith, hope, confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold nor famine, poverty or gout, sickness or pain of body and brain can ever stop you from wanting that thing, if dogged and grim you beseech and beset it, with the help of God, my friend, you will surely get it. Madam Toastmaster.